And welcome to Season 3 of the Not So Late Show. Today, our guest will be...
Andy Lee.
Hey, stop scrolling your life away and stick around for a while on the Not So Late Show with your host, Brendan Love. Good afternoon and welcome to another Not So Late Show. I'm your host, Brendan Love. Good to see Andy Lee requesting to join. Did make me a little nervous there, mate. Got to tell you. Big news, big news. Last week we had Hamish Blake on. There was a lot of talk about frames and tubs. A lot of talk about frames and tubs. People wanted to see my frames that I built. Well, I'm here to tell you. Here are the frames that I built. Recycled timber, nice square backing there. Got about a 45mm thickness, so yeah, spotted gum. So there's the frames, everybody. All right, what else? In other Teskey-related news before we get stuck into it, we've just had 2 shows announced in Albury on the 27th and 28th of November. Tickets go on sale 10 a.m. this Tuesday. Very limited capacity, so get in quick because they most likely will get snapped up very quick. Well, hopefully they do. I don't know. And of course, the ring is now open, so we can travel. So any dedicated Teskey fans or brethren in the Greater Melbourne region, you can take a 3.5-hour road trip, and we will be playing a gig. Anyway, so 10 a.m. Get involved. What else? Some more things on Teskey merch. We of course have these awesome handmade mugs coming out very, very soon. I may even give one away on the show today. We've also got this style mug. There's whole kinds of stuff. These are handmade by my neighbour and Teskey Brothers friend, Jane Anwar, a very talented artist and potter in the Warrandyte region where we're from. Anyway, that's all the Teskey business I have to fill you in on. Now, it is time for everyone's favourite new segment on the show, Wikipedia Introduction, because I got tired of researching people. What? Yes? All righto. All right, so here we go with Wikipedia Introduction. Andy Thomas Lee, born 24th of May 1981, is an Australian comedian, musician and children's writer. He is known for working alongside Hamish Blake as part of the comedy duo Hamish and Andy. In 2006, Lee was announced Clio's Bachelor of the Year. And that's about all Wiki tells me, so someone should update that for him. Maybe we could chat about that today. Anyway, let's join him in. Andy Lee, any second now. Andy?
Brandon, how are you?
Good,
I've
how are
never
you,
done
mate?
this before, so I was excited to see how it works. Now I realise I can see you as well as seeing me, and then everyone else can, I hope.
Yeah, and you can also read all the comments as well, and people will tell you if we're being boring or not, which is always great for the confidence.
That's good. I've actually got a pretty closed-door policy to negative feedback. Positive feedback, huge open-door policy. It's a bifold door, massive open door for positive feedback, but negative stuff, very much a closed-door policy.
Yeah, I'm somewhat the same. I would go as far as to say I get angry when people say, even if it's constructive, sometimes I just get angry because I'm like, just, you know what, don't watch this. You know, it's a Saturday afternoon. Go do something else. It's free, you know?
Yeah. No, keep us accountable, everybody.
Yeah.
Certainly keep us accountable.
Before we get into it, happy birthday. Just wanted to wish you that. So, all right, here we are. Well, thank you for joining us. Look, we got to the 5 o'clock point and thought, oh, look out, he's playing fast and loose with the rules here.
Yes, well, I mean, obviously you had Hamish on last week. It's important to collect the set. We're like a bunch of ushies at Woolworths. You want to try and get every one of them. Or actually maybe more Monopoly at McDonald's. I am Mayfair to Hamish's Park Lane or whatever the equivalent is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did try to get Jack, but, we can't afford him now, so.
No. He's Jack. I mean, I'm not sure. A lot of people overseas. I saw some people from Oklahoma joining the live show. Jack is a guy that works with us. He pushes the buttons for us on our podcast, although he treats it like a hobby, essentially, and he barely pushes the correct button. He's lucky to get like a 20% hit rate on the correct button, but yeah, it's gone to his head. Fame's gone to his head, and he's really hard to lock down these days.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's weird tuning into Gold 104 and hearing him on the old evening. It's I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, I mean, Gold 104 used to be just for good time oldies music, and Jack is meant to be a young punk rocker. So there's a clash there.
But that's all about music now.
Good news on the Albury gig, by the way.
What's that? Sorry.
Good news on the Albury gig, by the way, and the Ring of Steel is open. So yeah,
you can come along. You can you can come along to Andy, and you can leave before the gig finishes, like you have done in many gigs of ours previously. So just keeping it the same. I wouldn't expect any less. Must be nice. Must be very nice.
How'd you know that I was ducking out just before the gig finished?
Because I've seen you like a couple of times. I'm like, oh, there's Andy. And like I could see the hat, and you're kind of taller than the average bear, I guess. And so I'm like, oh, there's Andy. And then I just sort of throughout the set just kind of see him like, oh yeah, he's on his phone, looking a bit bored. I think this is the kind of I think this is the kind of scenario where his partner's more into the band than he is. He's been dragged along. Yeah, I get it.
Not true. I take offense to that. Huge fan. Actually, with all bands, annoys the shit out of my girlfriend. But with all bands, I do tend to leave before the last song.
Is that purely out of a you want to miss the rush hour, get in the car and you just smoke?
Yeah. Hamish and I have a thing as well, where if people see us in the flesh, they ask for $1, and we honour that dollar as podcasters. And so if you see me out there, I'll give you $1. If I don't have $1 on me, I'll give you a bow, and the bow will be below 90 degrees.
Geez, I tell you what, that's that's serious value right there.
Exactly.
When you go to the obtuse angle, you know that it's a serious sign of respect. So
exactly. And so I tend to get out of there before a rush on dollar requests. Essentially, that's the reason why I might duck out of there.
Yeah, likely story. All right. What's over the how many dollars do you reckon you've given away in all the years of doing the podcast?
Thousands. A lot out of my girlfriend's purse because I don't have a character. She gets very annoyed with me. But yeah, it'd be in the thousands for sure. But I mean, small price to pay. We're grateful for all the listeners. So yeah, it's an easy offering. Hamish actually coins for me to take, because I was thinking the dollars, obviously cashless society at the moment, COVID safe. What are we going to do? And he got minted some coins, which was in case we didn't have $1 on us, we could give them a coin which says in it, I owe you $1. So I do have a bunch of I owe you $1 minted coins to give people now, which I think cost us way more than $1.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just in keeping, I guess, with the show's general sort of fashion, I suppose, or the vibe. It's and how many? Do you reckon Jack's given away anything yet? Or
no, Jack is. Everyone who knows the show knows that Jack is particularly thrifty. Is the nice way of saying super tight. And Jack, if he's been cashless, he actually was ahead of COVID. He's been cashless for years. I think to avoid the dollar offer. But if you have on a printed card, you can't write it out, your name and BSB bank details, and you see Jack in the flesh, you have to serve him the card. It's kind of like, serving a warrant, and he will transfer $5. He has had 2 people in his life serve him the card. I don't think he's on it either.
I'm actually still awaiting my H&A loyalty card, but very excited when that comes in. So, yep.
Oh, good. Yes. I mean, it's the card the stores love.
Yeah. And, I've ordered the Power Moves book as well, number 4,200,000 and whatever it was, but put it in. So,
yeah, great. Well, I mean, obviously you're going to have for people who don't know, we've got a Power Moves book coming out. It's 100 +2 actually. The authors decided to, or the curators, Hamish and I, decided to put one in of our own each. But the 100 best power moves to give you the upper hand in social situations. Obviously, do any of the other guys in the band, have they ordered it?
No, just me, I think.
Yeah, well, you'll quickly become the front man now.
Yeah.
Is there?
Well.
I mean, even when you're on the bass, I mean, it's not going to matter because just the way that you'll be able to maneuver your way in social situations to set yourself a cut above. Probably you are a cut above the rest anyway, but it'll just cement that difference.
Well, I mean, come on, mate. They don't just hand out shows like this to anybody's, hey?
That's right.
So actually, we've got a bit in common, Andy.
Yep.
Both of us had our humble starts broadcast radio on Sin FM 90.7,
Yep.
Melbourne RMIT radio.
Yep.
You've obviously gone on to become one of Australia's most popular radio show hosts and then podcast. I've gone on to host one of Australia's most popular Instagram live shows. So
true.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
What's that?
We both won Cleo Bachelor of the Year.
Yeah. That's very. Yeah, I like how that's like out of all the awards and stuff, that's the only one on your wiki page. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I keep deleting anything else that anyone puts up. I just want to make sure that's there.
Yeah, 2006. It was a good year. It was a good year.
Makes me old.
All right, I wanted to ask about speaking of Jack, and for older listeners, it was a Giggling Ben was the original.
Yeah. Giggling Ben was the original button pusher on our show.
So, yeah, I've been curious. When did you figure out that the laughs that you're not necessarily meant to hear are actually creates a kind of ambience that's actually often funnier than the laughs you're supposed to hear?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it was early on because I used to panel and I'm not brilliant at it, but I found myself getting sucked into being worried about when the next song's going to come up, or to get the latest Red Rooster ad away. And so the station made a good call of throwing someone in to push the buttons for us. And it did. It really improved the vibe. Aim and I always have done the show for each other. Like, I'll just sit there and try and make him laugh and vice versa, like a couple of mates at the pub. But having someone in the background giving you those giggles, those tells, super important. So, yeah, we went from Giggling Ben to Cackling Jack. And I'm not sure where we go from here. But Sniggering Steve or something like that.
Yeah. You'll have to get a new work experience, kid. You can't afford Jack for too much longer. So
no longer a work experience. I mean, the whole reason Jack came on the show originally, because Jack's got really curly hair. If people haven't seen him, he looks a lot like Michael Cera from Superbad and Arrested Development. And one day we walked in there with his, steel wool type curly hair, and one day we came in and it was completely straight. And I was like, has that work experience kid? Yeah. so we got him on the radio to go, hey, buddy, notice something different. What have you got? And he's like, I go, did you use an iron? No. He's like, no, I chemically straightened his hair. So he used a chemical to do the chemical straightening, and then you can't really reverse it. And it was us having a giggle at the fact that I said, talking about the big decision it would be to really change your look. Funny that day, and that's kind of how it continued.
Yeah. Do you remember the divine anxiety one would feel when you were a kid and you'd get the haircut on the Sunday or Saturday, and then you'd go in for show and tell on the Monday, and you'd be sort of, and there's always that one, did you win a fight with a lawnmower? That kind of thing going on.
Back when I was younger, I've got some years on you. People probably know the show, though. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith. Awesome. He had an awesome afro, but it was cut really tight, flat top afro. And I was like, oh my God, I want that haircut. So I went to the hairdresser and I said, hey, can I please get a Will Smith from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, an afro flat top? They're like, oh, we can't really do that. And I couldn't understand why. Obviously, you need that stronger African American hair to be able to pull that off, but I couldn't understand why. And then basically the lady ended up saying, my mum was there with us and said, look, I can cut it like a flat top, like I'll do the same cut, but it mightn't look like one. Essentially, she just gave me short back and sides, but I got to go to school the next day and go, I've got to cut like a flat top.
And did it impress the fellow children or not?
I think it looked exactly the same as every other haircut I'd had, but the story behind it certainly gave it a presence. It was more revered.
There was murmurings on the playground. Yeah.
It was. Did you hear that? Like a flat top? Wow. I'm going to go and get that.
Yeah. It's exactly like the guy from Fresh Prince.
Yeah. So, haircuts. I've just basically been a grow it long, cut it right back, grow it long, cut it like the lawn. I haven't really gone deep into the super side sharp sides and the blends and all that stuff. Yeah, maybe for the future.
Yeah, okay. We're getting Ricky Nardella has commented and said, "Cool boys plus the Teskey brothers." I endorse this.
Gee, would you guys? So, I've seen you. I love you guys, and I imagine though that you guys are pretty constructive with each other and positive as a team.
Yeah. I mean, generally. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's pressure builds, but generally speaking, yes. Yeah. There's quite a positive.
That won't work for us. Our band is based on hate, essentially, and ensuring you're not the worst player in the band. No one wants to be the best because that requires work and practice. But as long as you're not the worst, and so most of our rehearsals or gigs are spent pointing the finger at someone who was the worst and why, which I don't think is a nice environment to be a part of. So I'm just worried that it might be against the chilled kind of inclusive vibe that the Teskies give out.
I mean, that could be the fire we need, you know?
Hey.
I've seen people swaying to our music, but I have also seen, certain people in the audience kind of looking at their phone and looking at the exit and, just so, I mean, it could be just the thing that we need to really bring the spice back to these gigs.
We also have a situation where all of us want to have the limelight and none of us are the front men. In fact, in our most recent tours, we've had a person called the Hidden Agenda, who is a bass player called Owen, who's a very good bass player, who plays behind a screen on stage because we don't want to get him having any limelight. We say we're a three-piece, even though we're a fourth with the Hidden Agenda. So I'm going to say, if you guys had to hide a few people, who are you going to put up first to be behind a screen? Because there's certainly no way we could come to the terms where we have all of us out there. It's just too many people to distract from looking at me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first cab off the rank, I think we could hide Jack pretty easily behind an amp stack. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, I'm a bass player. I don't really do anything. You could easily hide me.
You'd happily be behind a screen?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's great. That's why your band works. There's the lack of ego there that helps create a unity and a symbiotic where our egos are out of control. So yeah, it's nice to see that there's some passive people there. Anyone else in the band that would be happily play behind a screen for no credit?
Oh, look, if we could get the Cool Boys up for a song, I think everyone would happily take one for the team and just, step behind the drum riser. You're not too bad on the horn. We've got a horn section. You could easily slot, Yeah,
I'd like. I mean, even without the Cool Boys, one gig, tell me a song, I'll bring down the bugle. I've got a pocket bugle, a pocket trumpet actually. It's about this big.
Yeah, no, we want a real trumpet, mate. Come on.
You look like a little bit of a clown playing it, but you could pluck me out of. You could do a pretend pluck me out of the audience. Oh, there's Andy on his phone. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, can somebody tap Andy and get his attention? Yeah. Well, I'm into that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Next Melbourne show, I'm going to hit you up. And actually, the next Melbourne show will be, I think, in March next year. There's going to be a big Melbourne show. Is that announced? Actually, no, that's not announced. Forget what I said. There's no
Well,
Melbourne shows. We're never playing in Melbourne again. I didn't say that.
yes. That's the great non-announcement. Well, I look forward to not playing at a big show in March with you guys in Melbourne.
Yeah, awesome. Sebby White is asking how's Hogs going?
Oh, great question. This is my schoolmate who has a Excel spreadsheet, his desktop computer at work called ideas.xls. And he comes up with great ideas. Hog's going well. He's actually a book publisher these days, which is incredible that he's allowed to be in charge of a company, and it actually seems to be going really well. So, yeah, he's shocked everybody with that.
I got to tell you, I was very, very impressed. Well, one, I didn't think the Power Moves book would even happen, and then when it did happen, I was very impressed with what I saw. That's why I ordered it.
Yeah. Oh, it's as we said, it's 140 GSM paper. The paper's got heft.
Yeah. That's a strong weft right there. You could wear that as a shirt.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. And then the front cover has is a matte laminate, but it also has spot UV sections. So it's and matte. I don't think a book's ever done it.
I'm surprised you guys can turn a profit on these.
Oh, we probably can't. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's okay. I mean, it's important to get the book out to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, you took a hit on the teaspoons. While we're at it, why not do the book? That's what I say.
We've actually taken a hit on a lot of things. The loyalty card was the biggest one. When Amy started going to do this, and I was like, all right, he's not really the maths. He's actually a very good mathematician, but he doesn't really like going down that path. And when I realized it was costing us over $1, closer to $2 just per card to send out to people, and it's free. And we're going, this is going to hurt the old back pocket, but that's okay.
We got a great comment here from Noah Barr. Profit is out the window once Andy's Siggy budget is accounted for.
Noah, it's I'm gonna start up a lawsuit to take on everybody at the same time with regards to this slander. I've never had a cigarette in my life. Hamish thinks it's funny to tell everybody that comments come in. Fine, but at some point there will be. I suppose it's an inverse class action where it's me against a whole class of people, and I'll search every single comment and take down them all for their slander.
Yeah, I mean, I will be called as expert testimony because I don't know. Yeah, don't know if you watched last week's show. You're probably out on the golf links. Must be nice. But I was 16 years old. I was at Revolver. Symbiosis and Zoo Fight was playing a gig. We were opening. One Andy Lee was there with his trumpet in hand. This was back in the day when you could smoke inside. And Andy Lee, I wasn't so much playing the trumpet as you're just walking around sucking in the air through the trumpet. So,
Did we play a gig with you guys?
It wasn't the Teskey Brothers. It was a different band I was in at the time. But yeah, we opened for, it was called Super Deluxe. It was one of my first bands.
How cool. Super Deluxe. That was a good spot to play. Although the sound guy always had it way too loud. Like, people would enjoy the music, but their heads got knocked off, and so they'd end up being right in the back of the room or going outside and sitting outside. And I'd always go, hey, mate, you're pulling good sounds, but can you just turn it down? He's like, nah, man, everything has to rock. It's like, it doesn't. Really, it's so good.
I think that's actually how we developed our sound, because we were like, you know what? He's not going to turn that down, so we have to control our sound. So we play so quietly on stage. People often sit in with us and can't believe how quiet it is actually on the stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we play super, super quiet. And I think it was from just playing in small venues where they would just smash the front of house and everyone's there just trying to have a beer. Like, they're not there to see you necessarily. They're just
No.
trying to have a beer, and this thing's just being smashed at them. So
I hate it when it's too loud. I know I'm sounding old here, but just any gig, there's no point, particularly like you said, if they're not there to see, like if they're not, no one was that into, our band at the time was called Zoofight, it's called the Higgs now, but no one was that into the music that they're going to be going, I can't like to sing along, but it was listenable, it was edible music. It's inoffensive. But then when it's that loud, you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Can you just let people have a beer, catch up, and have it kind of going in the background?
there's we're actually another one of those things, another one of those non-announcements. But what I can say is this: is that for one reason or another, we have to learn the song "Never Tear Us Apart," and we did reference we did go back to the Cool Boys performances just to get some tips. So,
obviously, I don't know how to play that anymore on piano. That was one of those things where I crammed before the exam, and then you don't remember anything after the exam, like I did at all uni. But yeah, I mean, I thought actually Haim drummed okay in that regard. I mean, have you've heard Hamish drum? He thinks he's a natural percussionist. He's not really. For the level of practice, and also no one's ever, we had tried to get some lessons for a while, but just avoided them because it involved counting. He's actually pretty good. Would you give him that? I think he's actually, for a walk-up start kind of drummer, he's okay. Like we can get through a song.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, like when when you would upload the little rehearsals and stuff and do the little teaser things, I was like, yeah, I don't know. But then, when it actually came to the performance, I was like, it's not that bad. Like that's pretty good. But yeah, like you say, someone who doesn't play, like
yeah, it's like he brings a lot with his stage presence, opposed to Jack on petrified guitar, like.
Yeah, on his slow guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Did you guys have? We always found this funny in Cool Boys, but also in other bands I played in. The discussion about what we're wearing, or what, like, have you guys had that where you're going, what are we going to look like, or you just like, no, we're just looking like we look like.
That's the thing I love about the Cool Boys too. It's like most of the time is spent discussing things not about the music.
Yeah, we know.
It's the key. It's the key to success. No, I mean, no, we're not that sort of. We just wear whatever. We've never discussed anything like that. There has been times where I've thought to myself, I should probably dress a little better because I don't know. Like I just. Obviously, I want to be comfortable, but then I often think like, does it look a bit pretentious and petulant to sort of not respect the environment that you're in? Like just show up with some runners and stuff. And it's like, mate, come on, you can put some nicer clothes on. I do catch myself thinking that a lot. I went to the Arias and that was the first time ever I had worn like something nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Haim and I were at, we all hosted the Aras one year, but I think it was a different year. We were,
must be nice.
Must be very nice. And if Haim told you this story, tell me to shut up. But we were presenting Best Country, and we've come out and said a little piece, and Haim said, and the winner is, and my job was to open the envelope and read out who won it. And I opened the envelope, and there's no name. There's nothing. It's just completely blank. And
it's just a placeholder.
We're live on telly, and we'd seen earlier on this snippet of Keith Urban saying, "Hi guys, sorry I couldn't be there," and he was kind of the only country artist we knew anyway. And this is great where I'm pausing, looking at the blank thing. Haim's like wondering why I haven't said it, so he looks at me and then goes across and looks at the card, and then just does this, doesn't go to help me out, just goes, well, you're the guy reading camera. And I said, Keith Urban. Sure enough, they roll Keith Urban's. Oh, sorry, I couldn't be here. Thanks very much. We breathe a sigh of relief and go, holy shit, could have been really bad. We get backstage and said to the executive producer, they go, well done. I said, well, hey, just so you know, this had nothing in it. And you go, well, how did you know read Keith Urban? said, oh, we just guessed. They immediately start ripping open all the other envelopes
Yeah.
to make sure that actual people were written in it. It was crazy.
Yeah, geez, I was lucky he didn't go the other way and just go the old Troy Cassadaly because he would be pretty upset.
It was one or the other.
Yeah, actually, when we were there was an envelope mishap. I can't, because you know how they do two at a time. They sort of do one, and then the same presenters will do the next one. They obviously switched the envelope, so it was like best pop release, and then it was like an obscure classical thing, and everyone's like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Haim and I very rarely do corporate gigs anymore, but back in the day, we did an awards night we hosted for some like a creative agencies. I think it was just for like overall creative agencies or something, big room, etc. And we had to read out the nominees, and then they would tell you the winner. And we've opened it up and read out the nominees, opened it up, and inside the envelope it said the judges felt that none of the nominees were good enough to win an award this year. We read that out. I found it hilarious. Like, at Haim and I, but the room didn't find it as funny as we are, because they've been told, like, everyone's been clapping these nominees, and then they've been told that none of them deserve an award just because the general standard wasn't high enough.
And then that puts you in an awkward position too, because you've probably got a room full of people going, "Oh yeah, Hamish and Andy being funny. Come on, tell us who actually won."
Yeah, exactly. And then we had to turn around, and we were kind of making jokes about it for the rest of the night, trying to get it back on track. And then it happened again about an hour later. They all went for ages, and it happened again that we'd written out, we'd been going, okay, I'm sure there's one for these people, and we're reading out the nominations. We opened it up again, and it had the same words. The judges felt that none of the nominees were good enough to win. It's the harshest thing. Why have the category? Just don't have nominees. Why have them all sitting there hoping that they're going to win?
Oh, that's good. We had a good comment or a good question back here, but I got to scroll back. Oh, here we go.
Yep.
OJ Howe wants to know if you're in the house with the yoga mat or in another one. In the
We
yoga mat drawer.
We are in the house with the yoga mat drawer. Never been seen. Do you want the exclusive?
Go on.
Do you want to see the drawer?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, let's go out on the drawer.
All right. Yeah. All right. No, you're right. Yeah. That's it's good. Bit of sizzle for the end of the show.
Bit of pull through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forward tease.
Oh, that's great. Very good. Yeah. It's very good. You take the boy out of the radio. You can't take the the forward teasing, back announcing point, whatever it is. Very good. Very good. The second part of that question is, I'm just curious about this. What's your policy on spiders? You leave them inside, you put them outside, they don't bother you? What are you?
I'm okay with them across the board. My girlfriend is petrified, and Hamish is also petrified of them, like really petrified of them. So if I saw it, I'm happy to pick it up and try and put it on Hamish. That to me
Classic.
is fun. That's a fun day.
It's fun for everyone.
One day back in, would have been 2006, I mean, like right when we started the Drive radio show, I went to the toilet during the song, saw a dead huntsman at the radio station on the ground, but it wasn't like dead that it all shriveled up. It was still kind of looking really huntsman-like. And I was like, oh. And so I picked it up, and I've gone into the studio, and I said, waiting for the mics to come back on. I said, oh, Haim, I might just change something up here for the run check. I'll point you out. Tell you where I'm going when we start. So I come out of the song, Hamish, are you driving you home? And I went and did the point, but threw the spider onto his little run sheet in front of him. and he flips, like he yells and flies back, and I go, hey, it's okay, chill out, it's dead. And he goes, I don't care if it's dead. What if I draped something that you didn't like, even if it was dead on you, like your ex-girlfriend, live on air? And I'm like, at that point, it ceased to be a radio show I was doing. I just started doing a direct PA system to my ex-girlfriend, who I didn't hate, but if she was listening, really wanted to make that clear. And I started going, Ella, if you're listening, I do not hate you. And then Haim starts feeling bad for saying that. So suddenly he's now just talking to Ella through the radio as well, going, Ella, sorry, I didn't mean that. And we just both took a deep breath and went to the next song. And during that song, which would have been Rihanna SOS or something, it just said, but okay, that really escalated. I'm really sorry. I'm not going to do the spider thing again.
It's just such a classic, though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I mean, I will do it. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get much better. You've actually, now that I forgot that Hamish was so scared of spiders, and I sent him I mean, maybe I'll still do this, so let's just keep this between me, you, and the 149 people watching.
Right.
He's not watching. Must be nice. But anyway, I'd sent him a package like with some T-shirts and Teskey stuff like that and some other things. I should have put the fake spider in the package. Maybe I'll send another package with some of the new mugs.
Lovely.
And I'll put...
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
If you can, within it, send a GoPro attached.
Come on, mate. We don't have bloody Oz stereo budget here, all right?
But imagine that, so you could see him open it, live streamed, and see.
I mean, it might be the kind of thing that I could, I'm really pushing it with my if I could get onto Zoe somehow, I'm sure we could arrange, her to film it. But, I think I'm really extending the reach of my musical connections to people here, even getting you on, it was just, oh, boy.
Loved it. I was honored to be asked.
The strings I had to pull, unbelievable,
Exactly. It went to management and upper management and put it way back down. Yeah.
I tell you what, what's funny though, is it's like, and I feel like you'll relate to this as well. Like, so when we were sort of, not when we first started, but maybe like 4 or 5 years ago when it was, I was sort of doing a lot of the booking and managing and just doing it myself, we'd get a call from a festival or something like, Port Fairy Folk Festival or Queenscliff Festival. Like, they'd call us and go, hey, we really like your band. We really want you to play. And we'll go, yeah, great. Well, we would love to. And then they would go, we'll send you a form if you can fill that out and send it back. And then I'd go, hey, whoa, hey, come on. I didn't get in this business to fill out forms. You know what I mean? Like, if you want us to play, just book us and we'll play. But,
I know all forms, weren't they? I remember this thing. Oh.
But so that's like with this show particularly, like my first, like basically all I do is I send an Instagram message, and if someone goes, yeah, can you email my manager? I just go, nah. So, I mean, you just scraped through, mate, with the, can you send this to the email? I was like, you're pushing it, mate. You're pushing it.
The only reason I said that is I'll remember it. That's the only, I loved the direct call out, but I always loop in someone just because then they're going to remind me. Because you're right, I had 2 beers this afternoon already and went, what have I got on this afternoon? And then thankfully the calendar alert went, hey, you got this? Like, yes, great.
Somebody's asking, you guys nervous for tomorrow? Is that referring to you? Because we're not doing anything tomorrow that we should be nervous for, I don't think.
Nervous for tomorrow? What is tomorrow?
I don't know, Monday?
I suppose Mondays are a day where you're meant to do some form of work, which is always a little bit nerve-wracking. Just general nerves towards a Monday. No, I don't know what's on tomorrow. Is it trade period? Is there a match? Is there some kind of match going on? Is there like an important sports match going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Now someone's saying I'm nervous for tomorrow.
Okay. Can someone please let us know why we might be, or why we should be nervous for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Maybe because they've seen, like a lot of people obviously see the chemistry we have, and Brandon, you and I, our brand together as a duo is going to explode tomorrow, just off the back of it. So,
well, you tape your show on Tuesday, don't you?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
but it is like, is it like the fact that restrictions can come up as of tomorrow?
oh yeah, maybe that's what it is. Tomorrow is going to be huge. Yeah, that'd be what it is. That would make sense. Sorry, I'm just we're just sitting here in our ivory towers, not paying attention to the the real world. Yeah, restrictions are lifted, so yeah, I mean there probably is a bit of anxiety around actually being able to leave more than 25 k's now.
Yeah, I'm very excited about having more people at your house. Like, to be able to have my mum and dad or something around, that is going to be great. Am I nervous about it? No, I know them pretty well. I've spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're obviously hugely intimidating, being both primary school teachers. And
Andrew, Thomas, Lee.
Yeah,
a bit of that.
Bit of that. So yeah, but I've got past the initial nerves of just having, and Dad's often been like the clown teacher, like the fun teacher. So obviously he's got a presence, and so yeah, a little nerve wracking catching up with Mr. Lee, but I think I'll be okay.
A tremendous comment here, tremendous from, I don't know how, 5 Nack City. Now that Andy can travel 25k, he can now travel to touch the common man. Very good.
Very, very hurtful. Very much born in touch with a common man. Hamish is obviously spruiking the opposite because, similar to Donald Trump, accuse people of the things you're doing. That's exactly where Hamish sits on this one.
It's a classic power move, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, it is a good chemistry. I was just thinking though, maybe Tuesday, or maybe before Tuesday, you might want to bring that up, just about future plans and the Brendan and Andy podcast. Yeah,
I mean, I probably will take the opportunity to have my name first for a change.
Oh yeah, sorry. It just came out that way. Okay, Andy and Brendan podcast. Okay, all right.
Actually, it probably sounds better, Brendan and Andy.
Yeah, Brendo would be like a Triple M thing. Brendo in the morning.
Yeah. Brendo and the mug, and I'll be the mug.
12:20. You're on Brendo on the mug.
Yeah,
carrying you through rocktober. We've got Pink on repeat and the Foo Fighters.
All the cash we give away will be cold. It'll certainly be hard. It'll be hard. It'll be cold. It'll be all those. That'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well. Okay. Yep. Bring that up in Tuesday. What was the other thing I was going to ask? Yeah. See, I've got too distracted. Yeah. This is why you have show notes. Show notes. There we go. I remember what I was going to say. The Remembering podcast. Big fan.
Yep.
Big fan.
Oh, thanks, bud.
I'm waiting for anyone overseas watching or that, might not know. Obviously, Hamish and Andy Lee here have a very, very popular radio show, now have a podcast, and they have a new podcast which basically goes over some of the segments and breaks from previous radio shows, which is very enjoyable to listen to. I'm still I said this to Hamish last week, but I just want to, just give it to you as well.
Yeah.
Like in the same way as when you listen to a song and it just takes you right back to whatever moment.
Yeah.
I've just discovered the phenomenon, like, because I've been listening to podcasts for a while now, I've actually discovered the phenomenon of like, wait, it's not just songs, right? There's bits of radio and talking that take me right back. And April 2011, I can't think of anything except Bomb Scare. I think of Bomb Scare, it takes me right back to the shitty job I had. It was Easter, it was a Friday, and I was getting ready to drive up to this hippie festival that I was going to. And then I was listening to that, and Bomb Scare it tickled my fancy then, and it still tickles my fancy today.
It tickles my fancy as well. The funny thing we find though is people come and go, hey, I love this bit, right? And there's some of the parts like I really remember them. That was what's fun about the Remembering Project. Others, on the most part, Haim and I can't remember doing all the dumb stuff we did. And so it actually is really fun listening back to it and having a laugh at what we were trying to pull off at the time. Because on the most part, you thought of it on the morning. You
Yeah.
thought of it on the morning. You'd done it by 6 o'clock. You go home. You have like back when I was doing drive radio, I really loved the lifestyle. You know, share houses. Wanted to be at my best at 5 or 4 in the afternoon. So I was waking up at 10:30. Kind of wandering into work around 12:30 and then do the show and then go out after it. So it was in the brain's this cycle. So yeah, basically you have the thought at 11, you've done it by 6, you're back at the pub with your mates after it having a laugh, and then you forget about it and rinse repeat. So it is fun going back and having a listen.
When was the like? Because I imagine like early on in your career, getting into radio and stuff, it was, you know, producers and notes and, you know, like, oh, we got to get more cut through on this. We got to do this. Got to do that. Like, what was the point in your career where it was just like, you know what, you guys have sort of, you've got this. We're just gonna just go in there, click live, do your thing.
It sounds weird, but it never. Like,
Yeah, right.
we still like not the notes, but like we still want to make sure it's as good as it can be. I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but early on, I was doing a bit more of the housekeeping and learning, like back announcing the song or coming back in and I wanted to learn that and have that as a muscle memory, so it didn't distract me. It's just so it can be natural. So I did work, and Haim and I both took lots of notes early on. We got our boss. We started on Saturday mornings. We started it was called the Almost Tuesday Show because we were on from 10 till 12 at night on Monday nights originally. But we got our boss to listen back to every show with us in the room, every single break, and give notes on every single break for the first year. And our boss didn't really want to do that. I think it was probably more for them, but I liked writing down the suggestion, not making the same mistake twice, and then hopefully I'd have a little sheet there and see the mistakes I made last week and just pick 3 things and go, don't do it again this week, and do that 3 things for a month, and then they become muscle memory. Discard them. What's the next 3 things before it becomes, you know, your own thing? But there's so many suggestions as well that they're saying that we had to do that we're like, we're not going to do that. Nice. And we'll come. I think that's one of the advantages of doing a show with your best mate is rather than being answerable to the boss, we just kind of would look at each other and go, let's just do our own thing as well. So that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's very much the same as like what the relationship a label has with a band is that radio producer, you know, and it's like, we think you should do this. And then you just go, you know, it's just like, you just don't get funny, you know, or, you know, with a band, it's just like, anyway. Five Snack City here says he's got your shows on Sin on CD somewhere. I reckon you should get in contact with the H&A show because I don't know, just speaking for you here, Andy, but I reckon you guys would probably be pretty interested in getting your hands on them.
Absolutely. I found my old cassettes the other day of the Sin show and I got them digitized, but it's not all of them. And one of the breaks, I start the show. Hamish has been held back in class, so the show starts without Hamish. He had a lecture. The lecture ran over, and he comes in middle of the short break and goes, "Oh, sorry guys, the lecture went over," which I just think is fantastic. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear. When I first listened back to it, I was like going, "Oh, this will be hilarious. I'll surprise Hamish with like, you know, how bad we were when we first started, or what we were doing." But sadly, it's probably a slight on us because we've pretty much sounded the same. So we haven't improved at all really since we're at university.
All right. Ashman428 has asked if they can have $1 via PayPal. Yep, sure. Just send it to Andy. He'll shoot that through. No worries.
Got to see me in the flesh.
We're at 5. Actually, Andy, can you do you want to do us your professional back announcement, you know, time call for us?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, 10 to 6 here on the on Brendo and the mug. Uh,
Uh,
we've
uh,
got an ad-free 50 coming up in
uh,
just a clock, but stick around, everybody, because the mug is going to show you all the yoga mat draw at some point. Roll this out.
oh yeah, thanks, Ando. And geez, I tell you what, the Foo Fighters signs we're seeing around time getting very exciting. Are we going to get a concert? What do you reckon, mate?
Absolutely, mate. We'll have the biggest bloody concert we've ever seen. Have you would have seen the Foo Fighters in perform though live, haven't you?
No. Come on, mate. I'm like I said, I haven't got stereo connections, so you know.
You can buy a ticket, buddy.
Oh yeah, look, you can buy a ticket, mate. All right, must be nice. All right, I'm a musician.
Pretending that you guys are playing gigs, you can afford a ticket to Foo Fighters. Well, when's the last gig you paid to go and see?
That's a great question because
mine's the Brothers.
But no, you didn't pay. Beck got comp tickets.
Pardon?
Beck got comp tickets.
No.
Yes, she DM'd us and asked for comp tickets, and I said, "Yeah, I'll put you on the door."
Did she?
Yeah.
That's really funny. I gotta take that up.
Yeah, no, just leave early. Don't pay for the ticket. Must be nice.
Must be very nice. Sorry, was it?
What's that?
At the Gasso.
Yeah.
Great fun. well, what is the last? What's the last?
Yeah, I don't remember because we finished our European tour in February and we got home March 1st, and that was literally when COVID was happening in China and starting in Italy, and we got home and it sort of was just starting to, you'd hear about it here, and geez, yeah, I don't reckon I've seen another gig this year other than us.
Jeepers. It's bad, isn't it? Like I'm just dying to go and see some bands again. November 27th, 28th, road trip up to Albury. Bring the horn. Just saying. I'll take the private jet, mate. Must be nice.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I reckon we should wait before we wrap this up and we get the big reveal. I'm going to give away some merch, and you're going to decide how that's done. You're going to come up with some sort of whatever it is, and whoever wins, I'll send a T-shirt to.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a lyric from a song, and the first person to write the end of the lyric, they win it. Is that going to work? I mean,
that'll work. I mean, it's making me nervous because all I can think about is the Simpsons guy. But let's.
I'll tell you what. I'll go Foo Fighters song. We had the reference there.
Brendo and the mug.
Brendo and the mug, giving away a mug. This is amazing. It's the synergy's incredible. Brendo and the mug, giving away a mug. The line is, I've got another confession, too.
Yep. Let's just look at them roll in. Yep. Hold me as our lyric.
Yeah, there might not be many Foo Fighters fans. Maybe I'd have to go with the Teskey Brothers song.
There we go to make.
He's done it, Dan. Well done, Dan.
Dan Barton, send us a Dan. Actually, I got to screenshot this because last time there was a whole bunch of controversy about who commented first. All right, send us a DM. I'll get your details and we'll send it out to you. Jeez, I tell you what. Somebody said SIGs. That's good. Very good. All right. Well, very much appreciate your time, Andy, and very much appreciate this exclusive look into the yoga mat draw.
Here we go. All right. Dun, 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 dun,
do you need to stop and have a bit of a rest? Like it must be nice. Seems like a big house.
There's my girlfriend over there. Beck, say hello.
tickets. My sister bought them.
Do you hear
No,
that?
I've got the DM. I will show you.
Beck's saying nah.
I tagged you guys. No message.
Nah, I'm gonna go. I remember. I remember seeing it and going, yeah, all right, put that up. And then I messaged our.
Beck's challenging it. Beck's challenging it.
No, all right.
Here we go, guys.
Oh, geez, hardwood must be very nice. What is that, spotted gum?
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Look at them rolled up. Very neat, Andy. Wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Absolutely. Completely in order. You won't find a mat. You won't find a yoga mat if it's not being used outside of that drawer.
And not perfectly rolled up and stored symmetrically in sets of 3.
Exactly. Color coded.
Oh, yeah.
Thickness to thinnest. Hey, mate, thanks so much for having me on. Can't wait to see you guys again.
Thank you for coming on, and I'll catch you for Tuesday's show. Ando on the mug.
Yeah, can't wait, mate. Take care.
I'll also take a screenshot of the conversation between Beck about getting the comp ticks, but we'll do that off air. All right.
Okay, see you, buddy.
Thanks, mate. See ya. All right. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Andy Lee. What fun that was. Tune in next week for, I don't know, I have to book someone. Maybe Jack. We'll see if we can afford Jack. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to leave you with the credits. So long.